All right, landmark day here for Oregon. We're officially members of the Big Ten. Thrilled to obviously be a part of that. More importantly, the work on the field today. We put on our practice shells, right? So it looks a little different. You could hear the pops out there. Thought guys had a good physical practice, right? Conscientiously as coaches, we took a little bit off of them here this first day as we start to ramp things up, moving forward. But did a really good day. Good day 3. Got to keep building off of it.
Anything beyond the ceremonial nature of things, Dan? In terms
Nothing.
of I'm talking more. Did you hear from anybody? Did the conference reach out? Did the commissioner reach out? It is a kind of a big day.
I got a lot of other things going and talking about that. I mean, we've known where we're headed, and obviously we're extremely excited about where we're headed and where we're at. But no, beyond that.
Will was saying that Dylan's kind of starting to master the offense a little bit. In what ways does that present itself, maybe out there, but also in the meeting rooms and around the team?
Yeah, just being able to make checks. Like I've said before, our quarterbacks have a lot of control in this offense about getting us in the right play and allowing us to, take advantage of certain looks that we'll get, and that's starting to show up for him.
Yeah, where do you want to see improvement with that edge rushing group from last year to this year?
Yeah, just production. Like we don't want to. Anybody that's giving us a one-on-one opportunity, those are opportunities we feel like we need to be able to win, right? So creating those one-on-ones, and when we do get them, be able to make sure we win those opportunities and impact the quarterback. That doesn't always mean a sack, right? You can impact the quarterback by moving them off the spot, by disrupting a throw. So we want to be able to see that from that group this year.
After getting to know him for several months now, what's impressed you the most about Jay Harris, the person, not Jay Harris, the player?
Just the energy that he brings every single day, the smile that he has on his face, and the way that he comes to work, right? He's serious about his work, but he's always smiling when he's around here.
Let's talk about the target number of 40 snaps per game for across the D lines. Where the amount of analysis that goes into that in terms of finding where that regression point is, Dan, of what the studies were done and what kind of proprietary stuff you guys had either at Georgia or something about that.
Yeah, just that, a lot of experience, 16 or 17 years of coaching now, seeing that over time when guys start playing 80 snaps, they don't look the same as when they're playing less snaps, right? Especially on the defensive line where there's push-pull. But we've studied the NFL team, seeing what Pro Bowlers are actually the maximum snaps that Pro Bowlers are getting in games, and it's a lot lower than people probably would think when you start talking about the D-line.
Did that Bama-Clemson title game years ago kind of really underscore that when they kind of wore them down at that 80 to 90 snap mark?
Yeah, I just think in general, if we have enough talented players, we want to be able to play more talented players, right? But in general, my experience, when you have defensive line that can rotate and play multiple guys, you're going to be a stronger team, and that's really across the board.
Is there a target number of guys you want to incorporate in a group like that?
Anybody that's ready, right? If you're good enough, you're old enough. But we want to be able to use guys that can play winning football, right? At a high level, it's not, you don't just get slotted in because you're the number 2, right? It's because we have guys that can do that.
You talked earlier this offseason about discussing with some NFL teams about how they handle a longer season. What type of information did you glean from those conversations?
There's more of it's just adjustments there at the end of season, how you're handling your practice regimen, what period might become a walk as opposed to a full live practice or a full live period.
Green dots on defense have almost always been linebackers, for understandably, Dan. But with what the nickel does, is there ever a conversation about letting whether BJ or anybody else, but letting the nickel be that guy just because of how integral he is?
Not really for us, because as much as anything, it's about the ability to communicate that out to every other position. And as much as the nickel moves from side to side, having the ability to make sure that we're communicating to the boundary, to the field, that really needs to be a central location.
How have you seen Amari Washington grow from year 1 going into this year?
I had a really good day yesterday. I'm anxious to see what all of today looked like when I watch the film, but really conditioning is probably the biggest thing that Amari had to take a step forward in when he first got here, and he's closer today than he was when he first got here, and he still has some steps to take.
You mentioned conditioning on the first day as well. Have you seen that improve a little bit, or is it still too early to tell?
Yeah, it's probably still early to tell, but that's also what practice is for, is getting us there. So we certainly look better today than we did the first day, but we got to keep pushing that.
Pac-12 always felt like it got a little bit disrespected, but now that this shift is happening, it's official now. You'll get a little bit more eyes on the East Coast and things like that. But what are some of those other impacts that this shift will have on this team?
Yeah, more big impact from a recruiting standpoint, what that allows us to do in areas that we might be able to go attack. And again, more than anything, giving clear vision about what the future looks like.
Always brought in a good variety of speakers and stuff in camp in particular. Who's kind of on the docket we'll be visiting by in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, we got several. I'm sure you guys will know about it. We've had some guys already talk to our team already, but I don't have a list of that right here in front of me.